What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kinda Funny Gamescast for Friday, March 21st, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the tastemaker, Roger Pagorni.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm feeling great. This is an exciting one.
This is exciting.
We've been meaning to do this one for a while, so I'm very excited about this.
Ever since we hired Roger, he said, get me Remedy. I want to talk to Remedy. I want to have a whole bunch of different conversations with Remedy. And I said I can do that. And it only took me 5 years.
Only
but here
took you
we
5
are,
years.
of
Only
course,
took you
with
5 years.
creative directors Sam and Mikhail. Hello, Remedy.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
I have plenty of coffee.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
The first question I saw go through in the live chat, Sam, was how do you take your coffee?
Black.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my man. That's
Black
my man.
as
right there.
midnight.
Whoa.
Mm.
Everything he says is so cool.
I know,
you know
I
what I
know.
mean?
He knows what he's done.
We're going to dive into a whole bunch of different questions about what's going on with Remedy's 30th anniversary, what's going on with this FBC Firebreak business, what's going on with Control 2.
Whoa.
Mikhail, what's going on with Control 2?
All I can say is going to be weird.
And so much more, because this is the Kinda Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we come to you with the biggest topics in video games, whether they be reviews, previews, hanging out with our cool friends, or whatever it is under the video game sun. If you like that, like, subscribe, share. Of course, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, pick up a Kinda Funny membership, patreon.com/kindafunny, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Spotify, or Apple. Remember, we are an 11-person small business all about live talk shows, which means we are kicking off one hell of a day. After this, you're getting Kinda Funny Games Daily with Blessing and Ben Starr.
Oh, boy.
You know, I did my best to keep the rats out of the house, but here they are. You know what I mean? Here, he's eating all my cheese. After that, it's Game Showdown with a bunch of different guests. After that, it's Alien vs. Predator in review. After that, it's more of Nick's Nuzlocke. If you're a Kinda Funny member, of course, you can get your exclusive show, It's Me, in a series I call Gregway. It's 18 minutes today about FBC Firebreak's Game Pass and PlayStation Plus deal.
Oh, a little crossover.
Timely,
there.
you like
Yeah.
that? Yeah. I make a lot of assumptions. We'll see if they're right today. Thank you, Patreon producers Delaney Twiney, Carl Jacobs, and Omega Buster. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays, MeUndies, and Factor, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be topic of the show. TotS. Mikhail, what's going on with Control 2? You know what I mean? Where's it at? I need to know. No, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. I want to talk about FBC Firebreak, of course, a big announcement today. Huge news on that. But first, Sam, where did you learn to dance?
Do I know how to dance?
I think you do. Every time you make me smile. You know what I mean? You got the hands. I love it. I can never do it. I got no rhythm.
I love dancing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've total amateur,
No.
but I love dancing. And on and off, being on some very basic dance courses, growing up.
Yeah.
Some beginners courses in tap dancing and things like that. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I mean, you've been doing this. I mean, you did the tap dancing, so you have a little bit of a history there. It isn't just like out of nowhere, right?
Well, like I have a lot of love toward it. So I wanted
Yeah, you're gonna nail it.
put it into the game.
I love that.
And I'm gonna be part of it. and that was
Out there.
Sofia Ruja, a wonderful Finnish dancer and choreographer who came and did the choreography. There were a couple of things that were like we were showing her the title sequence of Peacemaker, the TV show, which has this really
Of course,
funny
fantastic dancing.
awkward dance thing. That's something like this tonally. Then we showed her our motion capture calibration process where you do T-pose and roll your hands and
Yeah.
I was saying that if we can get some of this in to the point that it's an inside joke inside the industry, maybe you can kind of knowing that was part of it. And then I was like, I'm a total amateur. Ilkka Villi is amateur, but we need to learn this. So it needs to be easy enough. And also something that any fan who wants to learn it can learn it and do a TikTok.
Oh, I
and
wish that was true. I don't have the rhythm.
she did a brilliant job. Although when I got the first reference video, like, okay, this is it, and I started practicing at home over a weekend, I was like, I'm never gonna learn this. What have I got myself into?
What have I done?
Yes.
Amazing. Congratulations to both of you. Of course, 30 years of Remedy. I think you guys are, and gals obviously, are one of the most special developers we have working. And I think it's because of stuff like that you love to get weird and you pour yourselves into everything you do.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I feel we have grown a ton. Certainly Remedy is much bigger with multiple projects going on. But I also feel that a certain kind of a soul and attitude that has been there from kind of the first days is still there.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Well, that leads me to my first question is, how do you preserve that type of... You were such a small studio working on one game at a time. Now you're working on multiple projects at a time. We see your schedule and what you guys are working on. You guys are working on a lot of stuff, a lot of different projects. How do you continue to make games feel like Remedy games? Because I feel like that's such a special thing.
It's not easy for sure. A lot of work goes into it, but it comes from the people, and it comes from us sharing certain kind of things that we get excited about and want to do, and I feel that we've been lucky in the sense that we have found other people who also share this kind of a feeling. I think you can see it in Firebreak as well, kind of that, and it's. There is so much competition out there that it's absolutely crucial to be unique, kind of daringly unique, and kind of go where your passion is, and be willing to do strange things if it kind of comes, is genuine.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah. And you both as creative directors, this is a new role in terms of like 2024, you both were deemed the creative directors of Remedy. How does that work at the studio? Like, are you both equally, hands-on on all the projects? Is it divvying up of things? Are you learning how to do that right now? Like, how does that work?
We are learning. I mean, with Mixu, we have worked together since
2001.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So forever.
A while, yeah.
Yeah. And so we know each other well and have worked on many projects leading up to this. But yeah, there is so much going on. And I would say that these days the ambition level is such that when you want to be, and we both want to be hands-on, one project is even one project is kind of too much work. So let alone then kind of somehow overseeing and being a consultant to every project and all of this now with Annapurna Pictures looking into linear media as well. There is just so much work that this way the likelihood of us surviving the work is better odds.
Yeah, better odds, but also like, how do you stop yourself, both of you, from not putting everything into these games and these projects, but not, having it take from you too much, right? Because I can imagine you've talked, Sam, a lot about how Alan Wake 2 it's your baby, it's something you wanted to make for so long, and then you were working on the project, and it was a lot. It took a lot out of you, and you were like, after all the interviews, like, I just want a break. I just need a break from all of this, and now you guys are overseeing all of Remedy and all of the projects. Is there a line? Is there a way that you guys are able to lean on each other, lean on the team? How do you guys?
For sure, and we divided it up very consciously after the first Control. The idea was that I'll focus now on Alan Wake 2, and Mixu will focus on what's next for Control.
Yeah.
Which is
Sorry, man.
FBC.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess one thing I want to add to that is that, it's not self-evident that like maintaining that sense of identity is happening by itself. So our kind of shared love towards certain kind of expressions in pop culture and so on has been like a core foundation to many of the things that we're doing. And I think along the journey, I think we kind of start to put more, like you start to see like Finnish culture as well, like when you kind of see Control, for instance, Ahti, and so on.
Yep.
So I think we kind of,
man.
pouring more of that stuff into it as well, which has been great. But one thing that I think is cool about also going from one project at a time into a multi-project studio is that I think it also allows the different franchises that we have to be more like what they need to be. Alan Wake 2 can be purely a survival horror, like go all the way, and amplify
with
that
a
as
little
much as
bit of
possible.
dancing.
You need to, maintain a balance, of course. And Control can go all out on the action and, the supernatural craziness and so on. Have those kind of insane set piece moments and a little bit of dancing as well, of course. So I think it's good. And us two kind of overseeing, we have our own inclinations, obviously, but there's that kind of a shared love towards like this kind of a heart of what Remedy is that I think propagates into everything that we do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually something I was going to ask, right? Is that now that we're going deeper and deeper into the RCU, right? These games are having more and more crossover, right? Like, how important is it to have Control feel different and Alan Wake feel different and potentially other franchises in this RCU feel different? Or is there a world where potentially, hey, we have a game that is all of it together in one game, right? Is that a goal? Is that a thought process? Or we just want to split up these franchises and make them feel different?
Have a take?
I do feel that we are in kind of early stages of the universe, still exploring possibilities, and it feels natural and it feels good that it is kind of a fluid thing. We can do a game that is in the same universe and has a lot of crossover elements. We can do a game that is in the universe that kind of barely on the sidelines on optional content acknowledges the universe overall. Sure. It doesn't. There is no set formula that it always needs to be this kind of a portion that will be crossover. So that will allow us also to surprise and do something unexpected. Whether we'll end up building this into some sort of a crazy
end game,
we'll see. It's too early to say, really.
Well, talking about transitioning over to different types of games in the RCU, Firebreak, right? That is an exciting game, and I got to see a little bit of it behind closed doors, and I was very impressed with it. I'm very excited to get my hands on it. That's my number one thing. I want to play it, but it's so interesting, right? It is a smaller scale game. It is pick up and play. It is not necessarily story-based. How important is it, talking about the RCU and expanding it, to have these smaller experiences in there to expand the universe, not only from a story perspective, even though this is not really a story game necessarily, there are some story elements to it. But
I
just,
mean, come on. The official thing goes today. Remedy Entertainment unveiled a new gameplay trailer for FBC Firebreak, a 3-player co-op FPS where the Federal Bureau of Control's first response unit must contain an escalating para-natural threat. When the oldest house, the Bureau's shifting headquarters falls under siege by a relentless para-natural force, only Firebreak, its most adaptable response unit, has the skills and courage to restore order. Sounds a lot like it's got some ties there, Roger. Got a lot of story stuff going on there.
It's got, but
don't yuck my Control yums. We're doing this.
Absolutely, it's in the same universe, so there are going to be a lot of nods to it. But it is not a story game. It is not a single player video game. Sure. It is a 3-player co-op pick up and play experience. Is that something that we're looking towards in the future for more of these things, or is this just a little test here? How important is it to have these smaller experiences here?
One starting point that we had for Firebreak was that we wanted to find a human perspective into this world as well. Like Jesse, for instance, is a person of power, and Alan Wake obviously has powers as well, and so on. So it's interesting to see like people who actually don't have any supernatural powers at all, they kind of rely on the equipment and each other to be able to survive. So I think that's in itself is like an interesting angle into the world. Right now we're seeing it as a kind of way to spend time with friends inside the oldest house. So it's less
A
about
lovely vacation spot. Right, just where I want to go hang out with my friends.
I keep hearing everybody wants to return to the oldest house. So hey, here's your chance. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a different kind of an experience, and certainly on that level, us dipping our toes in and trying out things, feeling good about it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's not a story experience, but Mike, who is the game director, does have kind of a narrative background, and I've been really impressed by just how they've found ways of taking the lore of the kind of crazy weirdness and use that as a kind of a foundation to jump into this kind of an experience. It's very much present there in everything that you do, kind of like what the lore of Control is.
If I might, I didn't get to see the presentation, but the news today, all this dropping, one of the things that speaks to me as, Kind of Funny Games Daily's Greg Miller, right? The industry guy. Yeah, you came out right away, right? This is going to be on Game Pass. This is on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. And then I liked that the press release even called out that this was a mid-priced game, right? We're not, you're not putting a number on it, but you're not saying like, hey, this isn't going to. Was that important to you in terms of getting as many people in the door to play this and understand that this is something you should be playing with friends, but it's about enjoying it?
Yeah, absolutely. We want as many people as possible to, play the game and try it out, And even if you never played Control before, any of the Remedy games,
and I'll stop you right there. If that's true, get your life together.
Yeah,
what are you doing? Are you kidding me right now?
But if you haven't, if you're one of those people, it is an easy entry point into the world. And there's some lore stuff there. There is some like certain things kind of going on. You learn a bit and hopefully, you kind of get interested. Like, what is this place? What's going on? Yeah. And hey, if you kind of get excited about that, then maybe you should check out Control, Alan Wake 2, and all the other cool games that they've done.
Yeah,
and the ones that are coming up, like Control 2.
I love the on-ramps. I think it's so important. As I was telling you earlier, Sam, I played Control and I really enjoyed it, but I never played Alan Wake before, right? And my fiance never played any Remedy game, right? So we booted up Alan Wake 2, and you guys assured me that I can play Alan Wake 2 without playing Alan Wake 1. I know it probably hurts your soul a little bit, but I wanted to try. I wanted to try it out. And my fiance is the biggest Remedy head now. She loves Remedy, and it is like one of her favorite things to talk about and fall in love with. So it's so important, specifically in Alan Wake 2. Like, you have Saga Anderson, right? Who is, I think, the best on-ramp for this franchise ever, right? Because she is the second protagonist in the game, and she is like the every woman, right? She's somebody that you can associate with, and there's such a brilliant move in Alan Wake 2 to have somebody there that a new player can connect with, right? So how important are those on-ramps, right? FBC is one into the franchise and into the world, but going forward, maybe.
It is very important for us, kind of like how we are looking at the universe overall, is that even if it has a number at the end of the name, meaning that it's a sequel, we want to make all of these games still standalone enough.
Interesting.
That anybody can start playing, even if you haven't played any Remedy games before, that you can start playing, and then hopefully, every game works as kind of a gateway drug into Remedy universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
and then you can go on and catch up and play all the rest of it. But that's very firmly, you can do universe wrong, and that would be that everything that came before is a requirement for you to kind of like get into it and understand, and it just will end up collapsing as an impossible thing that people will go like, oh, so what, 7 games before this one? Yeah, maybe later.
Yeah.
And that later never comes.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important that each of them are approachable on their own. But then if you like it and get interested, then you can go and catch up with the history.
Well, tell me about the difficulties of that. I mean, it feels like in a lot of ways you guys are building a universe in on hard mode, right? You know what I mean? I feel like it's very easy to be like, oh, we're going to make just a bunch of sequels and you have to read them all beforehand in order to get into it. You are also doing it in video games, right? Crazy in and of itself. Like that's nuts and it's exciting. But now you are creating on-ramps for people into these things, and you're also making side games that are potentially, or not potentially, they are adding on to the lore, right? Like, how do you not get your wires crossed? How are you able to do all of this and make this a cohesive thing? It's tough. It must be tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing, I like when you try to kind of market the game, and people kind of sense that there's this kind of a depth to the experience, right? Like there's a lot of lore, and which we love, right? Like we want to kind of build a world that you can kind of believe would actually exist. But when you kind of speak about the game, it's difficult to navigate in such a way because we have layers, right? Like you should be able to jump into any of these games, have fun. You don't need to dig into everything, read every single kind of a note that you find and so on. It's fine. Like you can play this game, just shoot at the bad guys and so on, and
float around.
It's exactly float around. And do all of that stuff, and you don't have to worry about narrative if you don't want to, and you can have fun like that as well. I do think it's important that people see that side, but I feel like when we talk about it, of course we want to talk about the world because that's what we're excited about, and making sure that people get that there are these different layers of experience that you can have within these games.
Yeah.
You want to go to the chat?
Yeah,
we got a bunch of people super chatting, of course, on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you could ask your questions of Sam and Mikhail and Remedy in general. There's so many good ones here, and so many people just talking about how much they love you guys. So shout out to that. If we have time at the end, I'll let you read them. But if not, I mean, you tell me about Control 2, you can read the positive ones. So otherwise, you got to listen to me go through this one. I like a whole bunch of these ones. I'm going to start with CJ Splitson, who writes in and says, does working with multiple publishers affect how you design each game? Again, Kind of Funny Games Daily hat on. We talk about the industry at large all the time, right? How hard it is to be an independent video game developer. I think people look past you guys a lot, right? Because you're making games like Alan Wake 2 that have all the appearances of AAA. You're a smaller team, so maybe you define it as AA. But in the grand scheme of things, you're an independent developer trying to make this work, right? And you guys have always been very vocal and very honest about, hey, we're doing this project. Hey, we're stopping on this project. Hey, we're working with these people.
Yeah.
Does this go into your thinking when you're working with multiple publishers?
For sure. Every relationship is different.
Sure.
And publisher's role is hugely important getting a game done. I feel that we have learned a lot along the way. I feel we've been very lucky with the recent games like 505 Games with Control, Epic Publishing with Alan Wake 2. Both of them showed a ton of trust towards us and allowed us to kind of like take our vision and create the game and supported us where needed. So that was all working really well. The ambition now being more and more is that we are taking steps towards self-publishing.
Sure.
And it is partly the fact that we are building a bigger universe with multiple games, and if they are in the same home, then it makes it easier for us to kind of like have long-term planning and combining things where we want.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think we built up a lot of confidence also into the things that we believe in, right? So, and I think if there's something that's really invested in and believe that this is the right way to go, I think we always do everything we can to really kind of get it into the game. And honestly, I don't think it has happened that often that there's been any kind of a collisions on that front. And of course, it's really important to us to, like we do regular testing and things like that, to kind of see where are the different pain points that kind of pop up. And we always kind of find a way figuring them out without compromising the things that we believe in.
Hell yeah. You want another one? Or you want to take it back over?
Do another one.
Here we go. I like this one from Tavin. Your use of meta commentary and themes is unmatched in the gaming space. How do you all balance gameplay, artistic expression, story, etc.? And which element do you find draws your focus the most? Just a little question, no big deal.
There is it goes to experience. Like having done multiple games, tried out things, seen the things that don't work, seen the things that do work.
Sure.
And a lot of it still kind of comes from the gut. Just having a feeling and going with the feeling and trusting the feeling. And like if it feels exciting, then let's chase it. But we do have our kind of like roles and priorities. I've always been like, I started out as a writer, and I very firmly think of myself as a storyteller more than designer of the game side.
Sure.
And that's why in these projects I always want to partner up with the game director. Kyle Rowley, the game director of Alan Wake 2, he comes from the design perspective, I come from storytelling perspective, and then together we kind of like figure it out and form the experience. So there are different roles as well. Like if somebody is focusing more on something, then we'll just find a partner to kind of support the other areas.
I think at the heart of it, we want players to have an immersive experience, right? Like it feels like they are in the situation and kind of have the agency of figuring it out by themselves. It's super important to us. But there is this contextual kind of setup that we want to kind of create, which within the players then kind of experiment and find their way through. It is extremely difficult sometimes to kind of find balance in that, so that the experience has become too passive, and kind of finding the interactivity in it. But we have a lot of like when you think about like, let's say the Astray Maze sequence in Control, it's like combining music and action and gameplay and movement and kind of telling a story at the same time through the lyrics, of the song and so on. And those are the things that I personally love, because that's when interactivity, storytelling, and the visuals kind of come together like in this perfect package.
It is teamwork. It's always teamwork, like finding really, really talented people that you can rely on and who bring their own expertise into the mix.
When you're building up to something like the Ashtray Maze in Control, like, is it exciting? Is it terrifying? Is it all of, because it's like, what that could be, what it needs to be, but I assume at some point making that, you're like, this is really tough, and what if it doesn't hit? Is that around there, Mikhail?
It's definitely, you never quite know, honestly, beforehand what's gonna really click at the end of the day. As Sam said, it is teamwork. There's a lot of people coming together, putting in their own ideas and energy into it, and as a director, you kind of just maintain that creative chaos that kind of people bring into it and make sure it stays as a cohesive whole. And with the Astray Maze, there's like so many different elements come together, like the band that kind of did the song, Sam handled lyrics and so on. Then there's the team itself. There's a VFX department looking at how all the kind of visuals work with when the environment like shifts around you. So there's so many kind of different things that have to come together. And all you can do is in the beginning try to kind of portray a vision of what you want to achieve, and then let the pieces kind of land and put them together in a kind of a cohesive way. And you never quite know exactly how it's going to go down. And that's part of the fun, honestly.
Yeah. All of these kind of like big memorable set pieces, like Astray Maze or musical number. The vision is there, and there never was any doubt that we are doing this and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But the road to find how these things click together is a winding one, and there are many iterations that can be quite different from each other, and until we work our way through it and find the form. A lot of experimental tries and iteration happen in between, because always these are, we've never done something like this before. Nobody has ever done something like this before. So we need to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, I think you've just set me up for a lot of questions, but before that, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Greg?
I'm thinking what you're thinking, but I have one question before we pivot off of that. Has there been an experimental thing you're working on that just hasn't panned out?
You stole my question, Greg. You stole my question.
Why would I go to an ad break? That's a great question.
That was my question.
Yeah, that's it. Then you go to the ad break.
Sorry.
Has there been one that hasn't worked out before in one of your games?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, even in Control, the first Control, on top of the ashtray maze, there was, on the level of story synopsis, a musical sequence in there.
Right, yes.
And that was meant to be when we do the mislead of false credits, and then we go into that, black and white nightmare escape. The first idea there was that it's going to be a musical, an office bureaucracy, but a musical.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And
so good.
But there is just so many things happening, and always like what the final game ends up being. There are many things that have been scoped out. And we had Ashtray Maze.
Yeah.
So we scoped it out. And there were other crazy ideas that followed up for that dream sequence that were kind of like looking for their way. But I feel these kinds of ideas that you feel passionate about and excited about, they are never lost. There are all kinds of things that go back 10 years, 20 years, ideas that we've entertained, and like I personally, in the projects where I'm hands-on, keep bringing back and we look for
Sam, not this.
an option.
Musical?
And maybe we don't find it, but like I do feel like I wanted to do a musical for a long while.
Yeah.
And I'm now looking back, I'm really happy it didn't
Great point.
work out in Control, because I honestly think that what we did in Alan Wake 2 fit from the perspective of storytelling and all so well.
Yeah.
So and if we would have kind of like realized that vision in Control, then maybe there wouldn't have been that kind of drive to get it done for Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I got to confess, like I'm the reason why the musical didn't happen. I
Sabotage.
had to, I had to find the right way into the whole thing and so on. Yes, it was a scoping question as well. Sometimes you just can't do everything. But yeah, of course, Sam took it personally, and
He's like, I'm going to dance at the Game Awards.
yeah, exactly. Everything. Yeah, there you go.
Now, I'll remind everybody that Remedy's been around for 30 years. Kind of Funny's been around for 10, and we couldn't do it without your support. If you love us talking about games each and every day, all day long, we'd love for you to pick up a Kind of Funny membership. Of course, you get all of our shows ad-free. That's more than 20 a week. You'd get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, and a 15 to 20-minute podcast I do each and every day. And of course, you'd get good karma for supporting a local small business. But right now, you're not using your membership benefits that, of course, include ad-free viewing on patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple or Spotify. If you're new here, there's not supposed to be logos. I was just doing it. So here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or an unexpected hit happens, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, go to shadyrays.com, use code FUNNY to get 35% off polarized sunglasses. This episode is brought to you by Factor. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel right and feel great, no matter what life throws at you. Greg Miller has been loving how simple it is to enjoy his Factor meals as he's rushing between shows each day here at Kinda Funny. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. This episode's brought to you by MeUndies. For years, I've been telling you all about how much I love MeUndies. Real talk, I haven't worn a pair of underwear or socks that weren't MeUndies in over half a decade. And that's because I just love how premium they are, how great they look, and awesome they feel. Even my loungewear at home is MeUndies, and I cannot recommend their various shirts enough. MeUndies just gets it. From the all-black classics to fun expressive prints, MeUndies has a look for everyone. Plus, they come in sizes XS to 4XL, so there's something here for all of you. Its breathable, stretchy, and oh so comfy fabric make it ideal for all-day wear. And they use sustainably sourced materials and work with partners that care for their workers. Rad. Good things come in big packages at MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping on orders of $75 or more at MeUndies.com/kindafunny. Enter code KINDAFUNNY. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny. Code KINDAFUNNY for 20% off MeUndies. Comfort from the outside in.
And we're back. Roger, take it before I steal your questions.
No. Sam, you did an amazing interview on Behind the Voice with Abijah. He's an incredible
He's
podcast.
wonderful.
He's incredible,
Yes.
right? Yeah, he's awesome. His production quality is awesome, off the charts. So you did an awesome interview, and you said something which I wanted to bring back here is you said when you're talking about Remedy and what you always want to do, you said you're always trying to do something that has never been done before. Is that a lot of pressure? Because basically you are trying to top yourself at this point, right? Like talking about the control sequence, talking about the Alan Wake 2 sequence, talking about the games that you continue to make. Is it just now, are you just looking within yourselves now? Or like, oh, how do we top the last game?
Is there any other way to do this?
Yeah.
Is my question.
That's true.
Like if that's not the ambition, then what is?
Yeah.
So for sure, I think that games in some ways just fit this idea really well because from the perspective of technology, we are always working on platforms that we have never worked on before. Yeah. It's just evolving constantly anyway. So I think that the whole point is, well, let's figure out on the side of the game and storytelling and all, where can we take this? It's always like I feel personally that we've been like tracing it back. It's a very logical through line through these experiences. But at the same time, we are always kind of questioning the individual parts and is this working? Maybe it isn't. Let's leave this behind. Let's bring in something new.
I think it's part of the kind of a mindset that you have as a kind of creative director that because it's not an easy job, right? Like you need to drive a lot of things and be an inspiration and work a lot with different people and so on. And I think you kind of draw strength from something unique that you're doing, something that you're super excited about. And I think it's just crucial to have something like that. And unfortunately, it seems to go like once you're done a thing, you're not necessarily super excited doing it again, right? Like you want to find something new. And that's like what fuels you really at the end of the day, to be able to kind of push through all of the stuff that you need to do.
But there's never a moment where you look back and you're like, man, we fucking killed that. You know what I mean? Like we killed that, and like I don't know how we're gonna make another one of these.
It's a strange kind of schizophrenic feeling of you are kind of never satisfied at the end of the project because you are only seeing everything that was left behind along the way, or like, I wish that detail would be right. then the realization that you have to go through every time again is that majority of it, nobody playing it will notice
Of course.
in any way. But you are very kind of like close to it, too close.
When you guys were here for Alan Wake 2, that was the feeling I felt from you guys. Were like, oh, like, how does this feel? And we're like, this is great. Like, this game's awesome.
Right. But at the same time, hugely proud of every single game that we've done. And usually these kind of like, things that you are not satisfied about, it's a momentary thing. Couple of months pass and you don't remember those details anymore. And then what remains is that, well, looking back, we did something great.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. I actually haven't replayed any of the games that I've done.
Oh.
And now I'm slowly starting to maybe come around to the idea that I could actually play Max Payne 2. I'm getting there. It's maybe going to happen.
Has passed now, not to be annoyed by those details.
Just 20 years or so.
Talking about Alan Wake 2, clearly your biggest development undertaking. What are some of the lessons learned, just generally speaking, going into the future of Remedy? Because it's extraordinarily ambitious, and I know it's not necessarily things that you weren't already doing before, but to another level, right?
Yeah, that was very much. And it's part of like it. We had failed getting to Alan Wake 2 for so long. There had been time to entertain all of these ideas multiple times along the way. So there was a lot of bottled up ambition and drive to the point of anxiety that now, this time around,
we got to do it.
All of those ideas. And let's go like as far as we possibly can. But it was pretty crazy on how big of an effort that then was. Very happy where we got with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Alan Wake is an interesting arc that it's gone through, and this is the first time I'm actually working on a sequel on a game that I've done before, and regards to Control 2.
Yeah.
We're not talking in detail about right now.
Well, I guess the only thing I want to say is, like, I mean, in the same way as Alan Wake is in many ways Sam's baby, Control is mine, and I feel like Control can be also so much more than what you saw in the first game, and I'm super excited about the sequel. It's going to be wild and bonkers, but that's all I can say.
Hello, Janina Gavankar. How are you? You're live on Twitch and YouTube.
Greggy, what are you doing right now?
I'm talking to Sam and McHale. Like you could turn on.
I'm aware.
Janina.
I'm aware. Like, you're like doing this video game stuff like it's like for kids. Like, you're 49 years old. Come on.
That's not accurate. That's not accurate. What do you're in their games? What?
So you're 40. No. They are artists. You should not be talking to auteurs with your like internet voice. You're like 48 years old.
No, it's lower than that. It's low.
Okay, so you're 47 and a
All
half.
right, Janina, it was nice for you to call in. It's always a pleasure. Mikhail, back to you.
She makes a lot of great points.
No, she doesn't. Don't encourage her, please.
Hard left turn. I wanna bring up something that went a little bit viral a while ago after the successful launch of Alan Wake 2. And that is the Quantum Break Alan Wake 2 video that you made where you talked about Alan Wake 2 and how it didn't happen, and basically looking at the audience. And I think looking back on it, it is such a special video because you're so honest with the audience and with the Remedy fans, right? You're looking at them in the eyes, and I feel like this could have been a moment where you could have done the PR spin, right? You could have been like, oh, well, Quantum Break is great, and like Alan Wake 2 eventually. But you look in the camera and you say, hey, Alan Wake 2 is not happening. We couldn't make it happen the way that we wanted to. And it's when you look at this video, right? First of all, what were you thinking in that moment? What was the feelings? And how do you feel now looking back at it? Because it must have been really tough.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, so much respect for our fans.
Absolutely.
Who love our games and are there kind of going through these experiences with us. I like just being transparent and honest always gets a positive response because people can like PR is PR and of course PR is needed in many areas, just communicating things. But then there are these times where it's just so important for your own sanity, but also to make certain things clear. And that was one. Like it was a huge disappointment back then. Like I mean, we built how it went was we were just kids when we made Max Payne, and there was not a single thought given to the idea of a potential sequel while we were working on Max Payne. Only afterwards it was like, oh, we're gonna make a sequel. I wish I hadn't killed all the characters in the story. and then learning from that, going to Alan Wake was we'll plan the sequel like from very early on. We'll take the story to a cliffhanger and then we'll continue from that. And with the learnings of Max Payne, that was like an obvious thing to do. And then suddenly, this is not obvious at all. We are not going to be able to do this sequel. Like nobody is at this time interested in coming in and funding the sequel. So that was, okay, I thought I knew how this is going to go. This is not at all how it's going to go. And always things have worked out through the years for us. We've been lucky as well. And the conversations with Microsoft from Alan Wake 2 spinned into something new, which was Quantum Break, that I'm also very proud of.
Yeah.
But it felt like, well, now is time to, face the fans and camera and explain, like, we really wanted this. It's not happening. And sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a right move to do, and I hope that we can keep on being transparent on this level.
So when you look back on that video, what do you feel now?
Poor guy.
He was going through it. He needed a hug.
If only you could show him the video of you dancing at the Game Awards.
Poor guy. Yes, and that's one other learning on this journey through 30 years is that I'm so happy we didn't create that Alan Wake 2 or the next one or the next one, but rather this one, because huge part of what Alan Wake 2 now is would not have been possible before. Like all the learnings that were poured into, like all the learnings from Control as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't have made that game before. So I'm really happy that we have Alan Wake 2, even though I was really frustrated through the years along the way of trying and not being able to do it.
That's really beautiful. And talking about Control and just the future of Remedy, right? I alluded to your slate. Your slate is crazy. Like you are working on a lot of games, a lot of projects. Let me just rattle them off really quick. Control 2, FBC, Max Payne remakes, and the Annapurna deal, and another unannounced project. Was this the dream? Was this the Remedy dream, pipe dream? We could potentially be doing all this? Or is this not even your peak? Is there another mountain that you want to climb that we're not even thinking about?
Isn't the rule that when you get a Lifetime Achievement Award, you have peaked, and people are like, time to go.
Mikhail's turn.
Yes and no. I think that, yes, we want to do more. We want to keep on doing more. I'm hugely excited about our collab with Annapurna. Because we've been trying to do that for many, many years as well. And now it feels, now we have the right partner. And they are very, very keen to very closely on the creative side collaborate on this.
Right. Remedy is thrilled as Finnish people can be, to announce that we are working together with Annapurna, who are co-financing the development of Control 2 and taking the Control and Alan Wake franchises to film, TV, and beyond.
So cool.
Very cool.
But it is a lot, and that's why we are co-creative directors now on the company level, and then we have strong creative teams on all of these games, and very much learning at the moment how to do this and how to manage and balance and still make sure that we are building one thing while we are building many things.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good.
It's lightning round because I know we got to get you out of here. You got big business to go off and do. So I have a few super chats I want to throw at you from youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Calvin Perez writes in and says, can you talk a bit about how the idea of characters having multiple identities came to be? And then he goes, i.e., I don't want to ruin I don't want to ruin it if people haven't been playing the games. It's one of my favorite aspects of the games and it feels so Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, well, Lynch is and always has been a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah.
And New Weird that Control very much was tapping into as an inspiration of a genre in literature. Certainly has a lot of elements that is kind of like the fluidity of identity and so it is at the core of it. I absolutely love meta layer.
I've noticed.
Some might say too much, but there you go. It's interesting. I think it's an interesting aspect in the storytelling, and once again, maybe looking at it from a totally different perspective is absolutely loving the really talented actors we've grown a relationship with and been working for a long time. And like I always want to bring in these trusted partners back. But there is you start to kind of, when you know actor and you kind of start to get a good feel of what they can do really well, you want to tap into those opportunities, and maybe it's not the character that they are right now playing.
Yeah.
So as a concrete example, Ilkka Villi and Matthew Poreda combined being Alan Wake. But I've been thinking about this idea that I want both of them an opportunity to shine purely on their own, and let me figure out a perfect role, and that in partly because of the story, but partly because of this opportunity led to Dr. Darling and now the latest incarnation of Thomas Zane in Alan Wake 2.
Hell yeah. And I mean, you got a good performance out of Janina, which is next to impossible. So, I mean, great work on that one. Geralt of Rivia writes in and says, is there anyone in the gaming industry that you would like to collaborate with? Likewise, is there anyone outside of the industry Remedy would like to collaborate with? Good segue off of all these actors we're talking about.
Any thoughts? I think so.
Well, we did a collaboration with Kohima. Love him. Would love to do something again.
I mean, it's an interesting question. There are more collabs in Alan Wake 2 than ever before. Like all the beyond Poets of the Fall as Old Gods of Asgard, but broadening that to like 20 plus talented musicians coming in with different custom-made songs.
Yeah.
And that I felt was a huge success and worked so well. And it was such a pleasure all through the way working with all of them creating these songs. So I think that we are naturally doing more and more collaborations. At the same time, and this is like people get excited going like, oh, I wish they would be, collaborating. But then it's at the same time, I'm just interested what they will do on their own next, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So sometimes collabs work really well, and sometimes it's like, we both have our own thing going, and we should just keep on going to do the next thing.
Demon Hacker is in the super chats going, when are we getting that Remedy cross Kojima game? No. You know what I mean?
Well,
if only you both weren't extremely busy.
I was in the spring visiting Tokyo and got the pleasure of meeting Hideo and visiting his studio, and he really wanted to scan me.
Oh.
And so I sat down at the scanner and I was like, I'm happy to do this, whatever you decide to do with it. Just interested in seeing like where my kind of likeness pops up.
Yeah, you just looked at him and said, "Surprise me." Throw me in whatever.
He's like, oh, this is my personal collection. I'm trying to scan everybody in the world. I'll have a database. Gentlemen, thank you so much for spending the start of your very busy morning with us. Congratulations on 30 years.
And congratulations to Sam for the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you.
Of course, big week for you accepting that.
A huge honor.
Yeah.
Thank you, and congratulations for 10 years.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're babies compared to you.
And here is for 20 next years. I hear 30 is a really
big
good
one.
goal.
That's the big one. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for coming over, everybody. And thank you for watching. Remember, FBC Firebreak is coming out this summer. That's all we've said, yeah?
That's all we've said.
What about Control 2?
Control 2 is coming out sometime as well. Eventually, it's going to be
Eventually,
weird.
yes.
Okay. And Remedy's celebrating 30 years. If you are one of those people who hasn't played Control or Alan Wake 2, get your life together. Get over there and do it. Max Payne, of course, as well. Remember, of course, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we come to you with the biggest topics in games, whether they be reviews, previews, or conversations we need to have. We're here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, podcast services around the globe. We, of course, are a business all about live talk shows. So right after this, you are getting Kind of Funny Games Daily with Blessing and Ben Starr. Then it's Kind of Funny Game Showdown with a bunch of guests. Then it's Alien versus Predator in review. Then it's more of Nick's Nuzlocke stream, so you don't have to go anywhere. If you're missing any of those because you're listening or watching later, they're all up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.